Yesterday I gave you the history of the seeking of human beings, how in 3 different lines we have been seeking. The first one, as I told you, on the right hand side, where they were doing something about exciting or awakening the deities of the elements. More in Greece and all these places they did these things much more than they did in India. Also in India we had the Vedas. In the Vedas, whatever they did was just to excite, or you can say awaken, the deities of the 5 elements. I think you all know what these 5 elements are. I need not tell about them. So this side that we see here is the power of action which enacts through 5 elements. This side is the power, as I told you, is the power of desire, which is a power by which we are emotional. This emotional power is active as a desire power, and this power that is there, which is the Kundalini, is the desire to be one with your spirit, which is not yet manifested. That's why it's a sleeping power and called as a residual power, because it has created the whole universe that is you and still is residual. In the center we have another power by which we have evolved. From our amoeba stage to this stage, whatever we have achieved is in our central nervous system. So we have another system which is the achievement through our evolution. That is called as central nervous system. Whatever is in our central nervous system is the consciousness, is the present. So the right side one, as you see here, and the left hand side one are also 2 sympathetic nervous systems. This is the left sympathetic nervous system, this is the right sympathetic nervous system. But as you are seeing here, it is a subtle body, and in the gross we can say this is the left sympathetic nervous system, this is the right sympathetic nervous system, and this is the parasympathetic nervous system, and this central nervous system we have not shown here. Whatever you achieve as a human being is perhaps not properly understood also. Now you see, if you put an animal in a dirty place, he doesn't know what is dirt is. He doesn't smell anything awful. He doesn't think it's something wrong. It can walk into any place. While for a human being it is unbearable. The achievement of our awareness as a human being is there, but is not complete, is not full. It has not reached its maximum or optimum, or we can say it has not got yet its own purpose. It has not reached its absolute value, and that's why we are in a confusion. The another problem is that when the man raised his head here, these 2 powers started working within him, creating 2 big institutions called ego and superego. And these institutions became like balloons, and they met on top of the head here near the fontanelle bone area. Say about 12 years of age, the whole thing gets calcified. And when it is calcified, you become the egg, you become separated, you develop your I-ness. Before that, you are not. Now an animal doesn't have a problem of ego. I mean, he doesn't have many problems. For example, he won't be bothered if your dollar has a problem. He won't understand about insurances. He won't understand so many problems that we have created for ourselves. But he doesn't have the possibility. He doesn't have the possibility to get realization in the first place, and another possibility that once he gets realization, to know his spirit. Many people have asked me, what about animals? I said, animals cannot get realization. They cannot. Even, say, if there's an animal, if you vibrate that, he may carry the vibrations. Even this chair can carry the vibrations. Even these flowers can carry the vibrations. They can have vibrations, but they are not aware of them. This difference we must understand very clearly, that they are not aware. That's why the people who have found out certain places as the places of worship, places of adoration, they are the people who are seers, who were realized souls, and they could feel the vibrations in that particular place, and that's how they selected those places for worship and other things. Now, for example, I went to Kashmir once with my husband, and we were going in the car, and suddenly I felt tremendous vibrations in the air, cool vibrations. And I told my driver, I said, there must be some temple or something here. They said, there's no temple, it's absolutely a place which is forlorn. But I said, must be about 2-3 miles area, there must be some place of worship of someone. Oh, he said, there is one. I said, which one? It's called as Hazrat Bal. That is, one hair of Muhammad Sahib is kept there. And people go to that place. Now, so many Muslims go to that place, they don't know why they go. Some peer, some realized soul must have told that this is the hair of Muhammad Sahib, and that's why there are vibrations, so that hair is kept there. They have fought over it and done all kinds of things, but they don't know what they are doing. So when I went there, I saw lots of people were there, and they wouldn't allow us to go in because we are not Muslims according to them. But sitting down there, I could feel the vibrations of Muhammad Sahib. Only one hair of Muhammad Sahib. So you can imagine how powerful these vibrations are. Now, when we say that we should not worship, in the Bible it is written that you should not worship anything that is reproduced and created by the Mother Earth and the heavens. Now, what is it? What is it created by the Mother Earth and by the heavens, which we should not reproduce? This nobody tried to find out. They think that you are not allowed to worship any form. It's all misinterpretation. It's completely misinterpretation. I'll tell you, there is in Paris a church called as, what is it called? Notre Dame. And the statue of Mary and Christ is so vibrating, from outside you can see the vibrations are coming out. Now, this must have been made by some very great artist who was a realized soul. For example, the Sistine Chapel in Rome has got a very beautiful frescoes of Christ and all that. And if you see that Christ, I mean, it's absolutely vibrating. But down below there's a big table on which they have put Christ, just bones, miserable creature, which is nowhere near Christ. I mean, it's impossible that Christ could be like that, so miserable, ugly looking, thin, worn out, hopeless case. How can he be Christ? I can't understand. He carried a complete, huge, big cross upon himself. Do you think these bones could have carried? And this was placed just below where in Sistine Chapel you find Christ standing as he was. How can it be? We must understand. And all these miserable things have led to such problems, because people think that if you are seeking, you should look the most miserable person. If you are a realized soul, you should be skeleton. It's impossible to explain to them that how can it be? A person who is a realized soul never suffers. He never suffers. The other day, I am covering this subject before coming to the chakras, because in these few days what I have gathered is that very absurd ideas are crawling upon here in America, where people start saying that Buddha said that you must suffer. How can he say like that? It's illogical, impossible. How can he say that you should suffer? Because when he saw suffering, you know the story, when he went out, he saw an old man, he saw a sick man, he saw a dead man, and the idea came into his head that why are they suffering? And then he said it is because they are ignorant, they should be enlightened, there should be enlightenment. And then he went round and searched and ultimately he was tired. He was sitting down under a banyan tree where he received his enlightenment, spontaneous. How can he say that you must suffer? The another myth among Christians is that you must suffer. Why should you suffer? Because Christ has suffered for you, isn't it? Has he suffered or not? If he has suffered for you, then why should you suffer any more? Or has he left something for you to be done? Was he incomplete in his suffering? Did you want him to suffer more? Actually, this suffering business is the greatest nonsense that I have ever heard. The another side of the Christ is the Jews. They said that if you accept Christ, I mean they were in a way correct, that if you accept Christ, then you will have to say that we have no suffering. So don't accept Christ. If you don't accept Christ, then we must suffer. All right? So you suffer. And they suffered in Germany, you know how they suffered. Now they have become ego-oriented. They are on the other side, now the shoe is on the other leg. All these mythical ideas about God, his incarnation, his aspects, is so man-made that it has become plastic, absolutely plastic. And I don't know how you are going to destroy this plastic from the human brain. It is absolutely impossible to convince them that suffering has nothing to do with realized souls. Actually, suffering is there where you are lost in a tempest in the water, you are worried about getting engulfed. But if you are put on the boat, will you feel the suffering? If you are a Christian, if you are a realized soul, if you are really baptized, really, not by just putting your hand and I baptize you so and so in the name of this and that, that has no meaning at all. It's just a drama. You dress up well, take the little baby there, she's dressed well and nobody knows anything what's happening and they just put the hand and you just accept it. This kind of baptism, of course not. But the real baptism, when the Kundalini rises from here, she goes up, here she awakens Christ. When he sucks these two things, ego and superego, meaning your conditionings and your karmas, both the things, they are sucked in, and then the thing, there's an opening here. Actually you feel the softness here on your head, just like a child. He said you have to be like little children to enter into the kingdom of God. Means what do the children have? They have a soft bone home here. That's how it becomes. Actually it should become physically, and you start feeling the cool breeze coming out of your head. So I wanted to clear you on this point, that there is no need for human beings to suffer. Only thing, they are to be born again. Now again, this is another very, very funny situation creating word is born again. When I came to America last time, everybody was trying to tape me. I mean, we had much more groups than we have here now. I don't know what has happened to them. They are all shifted, they are not here, God knows where they have gone in America, because all the time Americans are shifting. You see, they are not grahasthas, they are not householders. They are all the time shifting from places to places. It's impossible to lay hands on anyone. So somebody has gone to California, somebody has gone to Caracas, everybody has shifted, and I don't know where are they lost, whatever it is. Now, the main thing is that when I came here, I told them that you are to be born again. You are to be a realized soul. Means actually I didn't mean that you go to some place and say that I am born again. That sort of a thing I never said. And the gentleman who had organized the program in Los Angeles, he was very anxious that he said, Mother, don't allow anybody to tape your lectures. But I said, what's the harm? I mean, after all, what's the harm? He said, no, but they'll spread this. I said, very good. What do I want out of them? Is spread the news, all right. Now come, and they should get their realization. This is a fact, this is the truth, and what is the harm? After all, truth is truth. But I didn't realize that they were so stupid, that they started many organizations on that. You see, the vibration word came after that, and the born again. Now they are born again, self-certified born agains. You find them anywhere. I met them in America, in Australia. We are born again. I said, how? We are born. I said, but how? What is your authority? Bible is our authority. I said, But how do you say that you are born again? You must be collectively conscious, isn't it? Something must take place. They are fanatics. These born agains are nothing but another prototype of Mr. Khomeini, nothing else. They are Khomeinis. All these fanatics are nothing but Khomeinis in different names, in different labels, but they are not born again. They are not realized souls, because a realized soul is collectively conscious. He is. I am saying to be. He becomes. It is not just he says that I am born again. It's foolish and stupid to say like that I am something. Supposing tomorrow I start saying that I am the governor of this place, they will arrest me and put me in the lunatic asylum. That is how people have branded themselves. We are this and we are that and we are that. And another thing human beings have is to club. They always club together. You see, under any name they can club. Like in England, I met someone. He said, oh, they belong to our group. I said, what is your group doing? He said, you see, we have our fork and spoons put in a different way. I said, for that they have formed another group. I said, really? Yes, you see, our fork and spoons are not the way they put it is in England. We have another group. I mean, any nonsense they will take up to form a club or to form a group or a cult or a sect, and then bring in God in between. You know, it is in the, God has given us this idea. Now, how did you get connected to God? It's such an absurd thing going on. I mean, these sects and all these things, I just can't understand. God has created no sects, nothing. He has only created two types of human beings. One who are realized, one who are not. There's no third type. At the most you can say there are seekers and non-seekers. At that point where you can say those who are not realized. But I can't think of any other thing. I mean, God has created different type of faces. For example, somebody has say blonde hair, somebody has black hair, somebody has white skin, black skin. He had to do like that, otherwise we would have all looked like machines. Like these chairs that are here, we would have had no beauty about us, isn't it? There would have been no variety. It's such a boring thing to see all these chairs morning till evening. That's why he created this beauty. He made us so beautiful by giving us different permutations and combinations and things. It's such a work he has put in, while we are trying to become machine like bolts and nuts, and we become sort of, as they call it, the work. You see, the work we become of God, which is